Mine will be very brief, Bwana CAS, and I think I'll start by saying it is a very good opportunity for us to be here today. For Stanbic Bank, Stanbic Kenya Foundation, this is it's a partnership that has been going on for the last 1 year, close to 1 year. If I may say, Madam CAS, we are very excited as an institution to work with your ministry. We have been working with the different departments and agencies within your ministry to make this day what it is today. We have a lot of ambition. From where we sit, we already, as you did tell us on the 15th of February, started operationalizing the MOU. And what I can proudly tell you is that we have visited now 5 counties. As we speak, the CDIOs are going through the training of the trainers. We are hoping that by the first week of May, we will have at least 200 of the trainers trained. They will then take on the training of the trainees. We have engaged 2 counties that we will start with as pilot counties. We started with Uasin Gishu. Uasin Gishu has already given us the list of trainers that are going to be trained. After that, I was in Nakuru the day before yesterday. We've also come up with a plan of how we are going to engage Nakuru to undergo the training. Now, the ambition we are seeing in the counties is that, as you did tell us, the government is ready. The government is ready for partnership with private sector. The government is ready to actually support the Kenyan community. And we believe as a bank and as a foundation that the partnership that we are signing today will be one way that we can demonstrate the role of private sector in supporting the government in the development agenda. We have set up with the CS's leadership a team that will be involved in the implementation and monitoring how we are rolling out the partnership, and we will be reporting to your office. I think what I can then now do is invite our Chief Executive, Mr. Charles Mudiwa, to at least give us his remarks. Thank you.
The Honorable Betty Maina, the Cabinet Secretary for Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, Mr. Lawrence Karanja, the CAS in the Ministry of Industrialization, Mr. Robert Mbukungo, our Legal Counsel, Madam Pauline Bayer, and Renato de Souza from Stanbic. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, it is a great honor for us, and we want to say thank you very much for joining us today to be part of this milestone where we are looking at signing an agreement to support our small business enterprises. Allow me by beginning to thank the Cabinet Secretary who has worked hard to ensure that this MOU is finalized and operationalized. And indeed, we've seen government being very responsive and moving very fast. As I was saying to the CS earlier on, indeed, we saw that the elephant can dance and can move very fast. And we want to say thank you for that speed and pace that we've worked together to get this happen. For us as Stanbic, we say Kenya is our home, we drive a growth. This philosophy guides our engagement with the Kenyan community and how we do business. Underpinning this business is our focus on the impact we have in society, that is shown through our social, economic, and environmental programs. Job creation, enterprise development, trade and infrastructure, climate change, environment and financial inclusion are the key pillars that we focus on to drive this impact. A number of cases are under your leadership. A number of these are areas that are under your leadership, and we're working together to accelerate them as we look forward. Our Stanbic Foundation is working hard to implement these programs and to ensure that we give support to MSMEs through the donation of hand washing stations in Juakali sector, the donation of computers in the Biashara centers, and the digital training that we launched in February. I'm glad to report that the computer donation has now surpassed the 283 mark since inception, and we keep on doing it. On training, we have a target of to reach 50,000 trainees and an additional 1,000 trainers. As Pauline has indicated, we have so far trained 200 trainers, and we believe that once we finish the 1,000 trainers, we should be able to, in the second half of this year, to reach 50,000 trainees that will then be able to access this training and to start getting new skills as MSMEs. We are very much inspired by the entrepreneurial spirit of Kenyans whose hard work and ingenuity to create solutions we greatly admire. This MOU spirit taps into that spirit, and we believe that we can increase those skills and capacity and equip all our entrepreneurs to be able to take on the new challenge of businesses and to start to work in the new dispensation that we have post-COVID. As we recognize the potential Kenya has in becoming a global trading hub, Stanbic Bank, through the Africa-China agent proposition, is also connecting a lot of the small importers and exporters to partners with China efficiently. Further, we'll see this as one of the big four agenda pillars, and we'll continue to support the agenda of the government through the big four agenda. In health, as you know, we donated 192 ventilators last year. This was done in partnership with some of our private sector clientele, and we've also been donating PPEs this year, and we will continue to do so as we navigate through the third wave of COVID. In affordable housing, we were the first bank to launch green bonds last year, and we feel built to date provided 5,000 units for student accommodation as part of our effort to support low-income housing, and we'll continue to work with government in supporting housing. Further, we are also one of the 10 banks that are shareholders of the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company, and through that, we expect to reach another number of customers to support low-income housing and therefore satisfy the affordable housing pillar of the Big Four. In agriculture and food security, I can confirm that we are working closely with the Ministry of Agriculture to identify areas that need support, but we've been very strong in supporting the tea sector and particularly the smaller tea holders, and we will continue to support those as we see more growth. And we're currently extending our work into dairy and other production areas, that food areas, to ensure that we support that. In manufacturing, we will continue to work with small manufacturers. And what we're particularly keen on as we start this journey with yourselves is to support the small manufacturers. We are aware that post-COVID, there's been a lot of focus in supporting small health, which one called vaccine producers or small producers in the health sector, more like India. And we've had a number of discussions with the Ministry of Health around this and how we can support small manufacturers like what we've seen happening in India. And we believe that Kenya has the capacity, the skills, and indeed the resources to become a center of producing medicals like what we've seen happen in India. And we would like to be part of that journey. And we are working tirelessly to ensure that we do that. In fact, we do have a team that's actually looking at medicals as an area of focus to support and look at how we can help the local industry to manufacture and produce drugs post-COVID as part of that work. Further, we're also looking at youth as an area of support because we know a lot of our young people, and indeed 75% of the population is below 35 years old. And therefore, focus on youth is important for us to succeed. And therefore, we see this program not just as supporting MSMEs, but also targeting young people as we start to create employment opportunities for them, but indeed convert them from just job seekers into entrepreneurs, because we can't all be job seekers. At some point, we all have to be entrepreneurs and therefore create jobs and employ more people as we look forward. So as we look forward in future, our mantra is that it can be, because we believe that together and working together, it can be in our Zekana. And we thank you very much because it can be in our Zekana. And we thank you for the partnership that we have together. I thank you.
Our Cabinet Secretary, Madam Betty Maina, the team from Stanbic, led by CEO Charles Mudinyu, team from our ministry. As I said earlier, we started this journey a few months ago when Stanbic approached our ministry requesting for partnership. At that time, we did not know that we'll move this fast. But so far, even before signing this MOU, there have been quite a number of achievements, as the CEO has mentioned. And what has struck me is the commitment the bank has an interest in the SMEs. Our country, we are proud of one thing, that we have highly educated and talented population. What they lack is capital. They have entrepreneurial skill, but they lack capital to venture into the business. And I believe through this partnership, we'll be able to support our SMEs so that they can get into, they can jumpstart their operation and grow. I believe Stanbic will continue supporting us in our Biashara centers as we incubate our SMEs. I'm pleased to note they are also having support for youth and women, and they are coming very hardy to support those who have really suffered from the adverse effect of COVID-19. I know we shall continue cooperating. We are available under the leadership of our cabinet secretary, who has been extremely supportive. And with those few remarks, I would wish to invite our cabinet secretary, Honorable Betty Minor, to give the remarks on behalf of the Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development. Welcome, Madam Waziri.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Thank you very much, Charles, the CEO of Stanbic, Pauline, and Roberto. Thank you so much for the partnership that we are enjoying, or we are cementing today. The signing of this MOU between the ministry and Stanbic Bank and the Stanbic Foundation really marks a great milestone in the promotion of public-private partnership in the country. This MOU provides a framework for engagement between ourselves as a ministry and Stanbic Bank and Stanbic Foundation in the collaboration and cooperation with regard to programs to support micro and small enterprises. Some of these activities that we are currently undertaking with Stanbic Bank and Stanbic Foundation will include the promotion of market access and business linkages for micro and small enterprises, includes capacity building for micro and small enterprises. I'm glad to note that we've already trained 200 trainers. We have a goal of training 1,000, but that work has already started. It will also include and support to undertaking surveys on micro and small enterprises so that government initiatives and government response can be informed by data. It also includes fundraising initiatives in support of the development of SMEs and enhancing the access of these micro and small enterprises to finance. Clearly, Stanbic Bank believes in feeding their supply chain. So I'm certain that some of these clients will eventually become your clients once they become more bankable enough and they have sufficient securities. But it is, it's a good thing that we're choosing to invest in the development of such clients from even an early stage of their enterprise growth. As mentioned, we're really excited to note that several activities have already been undertaken in furtherance of this partnership even before we have signed the MOU. Stanbic, you have been present with us as we have launched Biashara centers in Nairobi, in Mombasa, in Kisumu, and Eldoret through the donation of the computers. And I know that you're in the process of donating more computers to other agencies within the ministry. We have seen a capacity building for SMEs, which has already started with our officers undergoing training of trainers program that has been organized by the Stanbic with the support of Microsoft. In 2020, as you've mentioned, you supported the ministry in provision of hand washing stations to various work sites of micro and small enterprises across the country as part of the fight against COVID. These ongoing pre-signing activities demonstrates the commitment to the ideals of the MOU and your own willingness to put in your resources in support of this critical sector. Our partnership with Stanbic is aligned with the government's development plan of promoting the growth of the micro and small enterprise sector through public-private partnership. Most of us know that the micro and small enterprises generally make up more than 90% of our businesses in Kenya. And such efforts to grow these enterprises is really in keeping with the government plans and government ambitions. The jobs that they create, more than 30%, they also contribute about 34% of GDP. So this is a critical sector, and our country's development cannot stand without support to these agencies and these enterprises. These enterprises face many challenges. These include perhaps limited managerial capacity, so especially at startup level. They have skill gaps. They have a low enterprise culture. They might take money away from the business to meet domestic needs, which is expected. And they have limited access to business information. There are also not many service providers for capacity building for such agencies. And this has led to the very high mortality rate for micro and small enterprises. They've also been very badly affected by COVID, especially those in the service sector, because of their vulnerability to the vulnerability and disruptions in their supply chain and reduction in demand. There is therefore need to offer capacity building to the SMEs in the areas of business recovery and market access to help them stabilize and to rebuild their enterprises. Quite a bit of the support that you provided last year was fairly operational and to support them to cope with COVID. But now we actually need to invest in business stabilization and growth. Therefore, I am very happy to note that the capacity building under this partnership will apply to various micro and small enterprises, including startups. The Big Four agenda in our country is a crucial development plan that requires the support of various parties, especially the private sector, for us to be able to achieve it. We are very ambitious. We intend to grow our enterprises. We intend to grow the scope of manufacturing within the country. We intend to expand our housing, our capital stock. We intend to build on our health security and on our food security. Government resources are inadequate in this regard, and therefore we expect a critical partnership with the private sector. So we are very happy to work with yourselves as partners from the private sector to support the government in our efforts of advancing the country's plans and development plans and our own competitiveness. The signing of this MOU is therefore timely, as it will go a long way in formalizing our partnership. The ministry is committed to the success of this partnership and will fulfill its commitments under the MOU, as we have already been fulfilling and as a view as well. We appreciate the support we have received from Stanbic so far, including the support you gave last year to the micro and small enterprises, as well as the donation of these computers. The ministry appreciates that Microsoft Kenya office has also is a party to this, and we appreciate that role. I don't think they are present with us today, maybe online, but definitely we want to express our sincere thanks to both yourselves and to Microsoft for this partnership with the ministry. And we commit our agencies present. I see Henry here, and KIE, who you're partnering with. We commit to keep our part of the bargain and to ensure that this support reaches enterprises in Kenya. And together, when we take stock, we shall be able to demonstrate how this support has grown our enterprises. And certainly, I hope that you're keeping records to see once they become your clients, we can also celebrate them as graduates of this initial support. And with that, I want to thank you for your partnership, and let's grow Kenya together. Yenyewe inawezekana. Mm.
Thank you very much. I now invite Ray to hand over the agreement for signing or the minister to both the CEO and the cabinet secretary
Mhm.
so that they can sign.
Mhm. I think my pen is right. So. Mhm.
And as we continue signing, I would wish to acknowledge the role which was played by various persons in developing this memorandum of understanding. Our head of legal, Mr. Kumu, officers from Micro and Small Enterprise Authority, KIE, the Stanbic Bank Legal Department. We also had our Directorate of Small and Micro Entrepreneurs, led by Director Nobik Masharia and Gakiha, and all those who participated in developing this MOU. We would wish to confirm to you that the MOU has gone through all necessary government protocol. It was cleared by the Honorable Attorney General, and that is why we are today celebrating this day, signing this agreement, which is a great milestone in our relationship between Stanbic Bank, Stanbic Foundation, and our ministry. This shows how far public-private partnership can take us, and we believe, as the cabinet secretary has said, it will come in handy for our SMEs, and so that we can have them graduating to the next level. We are looking forward, Pauline, to when we shall be celebrating the graduation of the first cohort of the people you have trained, because in our country, the graduation level, those who graduate from SME to medium enterprise are very few. So we want you to support. Now, I want Cabinet Secretary and the CEO to exchange copies of the memorandum as signed.
Supposed to
You can
display.
come for them as they exchange.
Thank you very much.
Good.
You know that the smile has gone behind.
And nowadays they are very few functions. So every opportunity, they must take photos.
Good.
Good. And then Corinne, there was the other part. Yeah. Corinne can take us through the other part.
Yeah, part of this is the handing over of the laptops that are going to support the government trade agenda. And again, this is a
Let me represent.
Yeah, yes. Corinne, how many are they? For the trade negotiation?
for the trade negotiations, the request from the ministry was 49. With this first round, we are giving 32.
Okay. So that computers to support our trade negotiators from Stanbic Bank. That's a good.
Thank you so very much. Now let me hand over to the speaker. The trade negotiator will post that they have arrived. Asante sana. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
They don't remain in my office.
So that's the end of our first program.
Yes, and I think the press, we thought that the press that are here are going to see us, Madam CS are meeting, so we thought if they can ask you the questions while you're still here.
Okay.
I think it is, we will invite Vanakaraja
Yes.
to address the press.
Okay.
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 Karibu. We will leave you by yourself.
Very well, no problem.
Okay.
So we'll give me support.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And yeah.
Okay, I'm called Kenneth Epuhulu from Kenya Online News. When she was introducing, she talked about the pilot. I only heard about Uasin Gishu, which is the other county. And then you talked about, and then before it extends to the other counties, are you going to do it in phases? And maybe how long do you project that it would have reached the other counties? Thanks.
Okay. My name is Ronald from Shino News Agency. I just wanted to know the number of beneficiaries and how much money is involved in the MOU.
Good. Any other? I think that one you answered. I answer the first one, you answer the second. Good. I think I can answer the first question about the counties involved. In this support, I want to explain something. I just take you back. When we started the cooperation, the training for that is computer literacy and right skills was an offer by the Stanbic Foundation to everyone in Kenya. But for us to reach people in Kenya, we have to go through various counties. Therefore, when we started the first, it was in Igishu. This week, they went to Nakuru, and they'll be moving from each various counties in collaboration with the ministry. It is open to all Kenyans, irrespective of where they are. The second part where they are supporting us is what we are calling, and we needed to clarify Biashara centers. What are Biashara centers? You heard the CS talking about Biashara centers. Biashara centers are these are incubation centers or one-stop shop for the SMEs. They are like what you call Huduma centers, such that you can go to a place, you apply for registration, you get, you are doing some innovation, you get the support from Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute, KILDI. If you have come with an innovation and you want protection, it will be patented by KIPI. And then if you need any training on business skill, you'll be supported by Micro and Small Enterprise Authority to be trained on how to do business. So it is a one-stop shop. And also Kenya Bureau of Standard would be there so that they can give your product mark of standardization after testing it. Therefore, an SME doesn't have to move from Eldoret to Nairobi to look for KEBS, KIPI, KILDI, Micro and Small Enterprise. From one stop in Eldoret, he can go and get all the necessary support or he needs from the government. And so far, we have 4. We have one here in Kariobangi, and Stanbic Foundation supported us when we were starting it by giving us the hard washing machines. We went for the second one in Eldoret, which we launched last month. The Stanbic Foundation has given us computers. We started the third one in Mombasa and the 4th one in Kisumu. It is our intention to have them in all areas, but we are moving step by step, identifying a space, then we praise, we open those offices and put our agencies under one roof so that anybody who needs facilitation for industrial development can get services from one office. You don't have to look for KEBS here, KILD there, KIE there, Micro and Small Enterprise, KIPI from other corner. That is what we are calling the Biashara Center. It is meant to support the SMEs. I think Charles can answer the second question.
Thank you very much for the second question. You asked the number of beneficiaries that we are looking at. This year, the plan is that we want to train 1,000 trainers. So they are ones who actually facilitate the training. And we've so far trained 200. So we believe that by the end of this year, we have trained at least 1,000 trainers. Now, as to the actual beneficiaries, the plan is that this year we have 50,000 beneficiaries who would have been trained. That is, by the end of this year, we should have trained 50,000 SMEs. But we're hoping that by the end of 2023, we'd have done 500,000 SMEs would have been trained. In terms of the money has got 2 parts. I mean, there's a part 1, which is where we're supporting them through what we call in grants, which is we help them once they've got the businesses, what is that we need to do. And we've arranged some funding of $5 million, which will support them through some kind of a grant to help them start up their businesses and work through the businesses. And I think we have an advertising that's coming, that's going out at the moment for people to tender and to submit proposals that we can support. Over and above that, we are part of the government credit guarantee scheme, which is a partnership between the government of Kenya and the private sector. And we are also going to be putting some of those SMEs on the credit guarantee scheme. As it grows, we're one of the 6 banks that are in the credit guarantee scheme. So they'll also be beneficiaries of that government guarantee scheme as we work forwards into the future.
Good afternoon. My name is Lillian. Buona CAS. My question is, when we look at the current environment, it's quite challenging. What initiatives has the government rolled out to ensure that local enterprises remain competitive?
As you are aware, it's true, the environment is very challenging. The first thing I would say is you are aware that His Excellency the President has formed a task force which is looking at the power tariffs and the charges, because one of the most expensive components of the production has been power. So that one is being addressed. The second one is to support them. The government has come with the government credit guarantee scheme, which is supposed to make to support the entrepreneurs with accessible credit, where the government guarantees those who would want to get want to get into production, and mainly the SME. Thirdly, we have been liaising with some of the county government, because and you are aware that a few of the county governments have waived license, especially the ones which are going through the lockdown. You know, Machakos has already waived, Nakuru has waived, others have waived things like penalties on the rate. These are supposed to ease the challenges which the entrepreneurs are facing. But most of the time, we are looking at what we call sector-specific targeting measures, so that if it is tourism, which challenges are they facing, and what intervention. If it is horticulture, what challenges are they making, and we do an intervention. If it is the people, so our intervention right now, as we are doing it sector-specific intervention, not general intervention.
My two more questions. When we look at the initiatives, this partnership, could you kindly summarize for us what would be the immediate benefits, and what message would you have to Stanbic Bank?
What I would say is this: the immediate benefits to the SMEs through this partnership. As you heard it from the CS, it covers various, it has various components. The first one, as you said, is that we'll be able to bring together the SMEs, and then they'll go through what we call entrepreneur skills. Stanbic will be giving the support on that, so that they can be trained on how to do business. You know, because we don't have a school of business. You find most of the people who are in business, you keep trying this, you keep trying that, but we want to tell them that if you are doing this with the business, this is how you ought to learn it in a professional way. Secondly, through the digital skills. Once our entrepreneurs, especially the SMEs, get those digital skills, we are now in e-commerce. Most of them will be able to get into it. They'll be able to sell their products through e-commerce. They'll be able to buy through e-commerce. And finally, as I said, through this partnership, our SMEs will be able to get cheap and affordable financing through this process.
Finally, Mr. Charles Mudiwa, my question is, as a key member of the private sector, what role do you see the bank playing in fostering Kenya's social economic development?
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, as a member of the private sector, we believe that we have to play a meaningful role and contribute to the growth of Kenya. As we say at Stanbic, our purpose is Kenya as a home we drive the growth. And we see our role coming in 3 dimensions. The first one is the social role. How do we help dealing with social role and fulfilling poverty issues and addressing them? And part of the work that we're doing is actually by creating employment and being able to provide people to support themselves and give them the skills that they require so they can actually generate more wealth and be able to support themselves. And this is one of the journeys that we're working with. I think, as you know, we're supporting this program for SMEs. We do run a program for women through DADA, where we support women, not just from a funding point of view, but we support them from an education point of view, from a wellness point of view. So we do a number of things that actually support different organizations in terms of that. We provide scholarships for some of children who can get my funding. The second one is an economic one. How do we provide economic support to our environment? And we do this through supporting programs that generate wealth and funding businesses that grow, that create new employment. And part of the work that we're also doing here is to ensure that we provide businesses that actually can grow and generate employment, but create economic value and contribute to the growth of the economy. And the last one is how do we support environmental initiatives and how to ensure that we create sustainability in our country through environment. So as private sector, we can support and work with government by supporting the initiatives in the social space, economic space, and in environmental space as we go forward. And Stanbic has been at the forefront of meeting all those three hurdles and supporting Kenya grow in that regard.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Minister Media.
It can be.